All of a sudden there is abomination. But it was not abomination when the man decided to disappear and abandon his children. It is an abomination to have children and just disappear out of their lives. It is an abomination. No culture supports that. But men are getting away with it. Men are getting away with it. It is only when, have you noticed that it's always when something is done against men in a lot of our cultures that we hear what abomination is. Hello guys, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you're new to my channel, hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Summer. And to all of you that keep coming back, hello and welcome back. Quick reminder, if you've never subscribed, just to remind you to click that red button there that says subscribe, and after that click the bell sign. That way you get notification whenever I upload a new video. So in today's video, I want to share with you guys about this Nollywood actress called Ngozi Ezeonu. So the daughter got married recently, and the father of the girl is not happy because he was not, I don't know if he was not invited or he was not the one that gave her hand out for marriage. So basically this Nollywood actress Ngozi Ezeonu is divorced. Her husband, who she's divorced from, was not there at the wedding, and he was not the one that gave the daughter's hand out in marriage. So I basically read it to you guys exactly how it is. Exclusive. I curse your marriage, it shall not bear fruit. Ngozi Ezeonu's husband tells daughter, as he could no longer be able to bear the pains, bitterness and anger of having his daughter married out without his full consent, despite all he did for her, in quote. Veteran actress Ngozi Ezeonu's husband, Edwin Ezeonu, is spitting more fire and has even gone as far as laying a curse on his daughter. Well, in case you missed it, the controversy started 2 weeks ago when Ngozi Ezeonu gave out her daughter's hand in marriage at a glamorous ceremony held in Asaba, Delta State. During the star-studded event, it was noticed that her estranged husband, Mr. Edwin Ezeonu, wasn't present to officially hand over his daughter's hand to the groom. The aggrieved father is insisting that as long as he is concerned, his daughter Ogechukwu Edwina Ezeonu is still unmarried, and that marriage is cursed. Mr. Ezeonu also emphasized that he is a native of Nnobi, while his estranged wife Ngozi is from Obunike, both in Anambra State. Yet his daughter's traditional marriage was held in Delta State, an act seen as abomination in his community. This woman, Ngozi Dennis Ikwelwe, has no legitimate right and authority to give out Ogechukwu Edwina Ezeonu's hand in marriage. I call her by her father's name because we are divorced and she no longer has the right to bear my name since 2013. However, as long as I and the entire family of Ezeonu and his kindred are concerned, Ogechukwu Edwina Ezeonu is not married. That union is cursed. It is a taboo. I hear people saying I abandoned my children. I never did. I took care of my children. I visited Ogechi in school. Even when she was in boarding school, I do sneak in to give her money, extra foodstuffs. She was sweet tooth, so I made sure I satisfied her needs in school. I paid her school fees, supplied them foodstuffs. I made sure I sent money into Ngozi's account monthly. The least I sent to her was 400,000 naira. When it became glaring to me that Ngozi was mean on taking the children away, I reduced my financial assistance, but I still kept in touch, he stated. Ngozi should also desist from using my surname. We are divorced, he lamented. I saw this post. It was actually shared on Facebook, so I decided to go, read up more about it. And there are so many opinions, so many people with different opinions. When I first saw the title of this, I was thinking, oh, maybe it was a father that was never there. See, we don't know. This is just what we're reading from this article we're reading, and maybe he just those kind of fathers that just walk away and never look back, and then it's time to get married, and then he's coming to claim his rights. But he's claiming that he has always been supportive financially, and he has been going to visit the daughter in school and all those things. So I don't know, I'm finding it hard to actually discuss it exactly specifically in this particular situation about this couple, but I would have loved to talk about it in general, right? And something else I want to say is, they are divorced, right? And the woman is there answering his last name. I don't actually think there's a law against that. I don't think so. That's actually unusual for women to keep the last name of their ex. Maybe she felt like she's been a Nollywood actress for a long time and she's known with this name. Maybe she didn't want to bother changing it. But him saying she should desist from using his name, I don't think she's breaking any laws. I don't think so. Anyways, and so people find it a bit too much to change their name, and they start changing their name on their passport, driver's license, bank, so it is a lot to now start changing name here and there. And another thing again is sometimes some women do not like to have a different last name from their children. You know, something else I really want to talk about. People are like, oh, that marriage is cursed and all of those things. No matter what the man has done, the woman cannot go and the child gets married without the father's being the one to hand her over or his consent and stuff like that. This case is slightly different. He's saying he has been there. He's saying he's been sending money. But there are actually some men that just disappear. Completely disappear. They never even contribute financially. They never contribute in any way in the life of the children, and then it's time for the child to get married, the daughters to get married, and they come from left, right and center. Those are the kind of people I would actually want to use this opportunity to address. Or so-called umunna, you know, this, that, all of these people who do not even know if a girl exists, who place so much little value in female children. I made a video not too long ago about, you know, how some families disinherit the girls do not inherit anything, like zero, inherit absolutely nothing. And somebody left in the comment about how their father died and the mother only had girls, and the father's family chased them away and kept everything, absolutely everything, because they're just girls. Her and her mother and sisters, they went and started living a very wretched, poor life. They survived. Their mother was able to get them an education and everything, and then it was time for them to get married. All these umuna that chased them away were coming for their rights as umuna. You see how in the name of tradition and culture, all of a sudden they are entitled, all of a sudden they have rights. The girls are useless, but it's only when it's time to get married, when they are getting married, they become of value because of the bride price, and all of a sudden the girls have value because of what they are going to get from bride price. You know, I want to address those men that walk away, completely walk away from the life of their children, never there, absolutely absent, completely absent in the life of their children, and then it's time for marriage, then they come out and be, I'm the father of the girl. Like, I don't know the heart, the guts they have, and the heart they have to even show their faces. Honestly, to show their faces. Like I said, this man said he's been supportive or whatever, so we don't know. But I don't know what would make a woman to just decide that he's not going to be there. I'm going to be honest, like, I personally, when my children, my daughters are getting married, you know, of course I want their father to be there. Like, it's a joyful thing. It's something you want family and friends to be part of. And like, if my child then says, I don't want my father there, I would do everything to encourage my child not to do that. If my child says my father was never there, he was not there in our lives, we only saw him at blah 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 blah, you know, and then they feel like, no, I don't want my father here, I personally will advise them against that, because I'm going to say, look, your wedding is such a big thing in your life. It's such a special day in your life. If you allow your father to miss it, you can't undo it. Do you know what I'm trying to say? It's not the end of the world at the end of the day, but you can't undo it. There are some things where, you know, let me tell you, even no matter, this is my personal opinion. I personally will not advise anybody to, say, cut the man off and not allow him to attend the wedding and stuff. I personally will not advise that, because I feel like, look, no matter how much the man does not deserve it, apart from if the man is a, you know, violent person that they're, for some reasons, that for safety reasons, it's not okay for him to be there. If you be like, he does not deserve to be here, he does not deserve, let's remember, a lot of us, if God was to consider what we deserve before he blesses us, a lot of us, come on, let's be honest, like, sometimes you have to just forget about whatever somebody may have done wrong or whatever, and just allow a day to be a beautiful day, and let everybody come together, celebrate together, have a great time together, you know, and just not focus on, you know, he doesn't deserve it or she does. Because in the comment section there's some people like, oh, some men do not deserve to come there, but some fathers do not deserve to give their children's hand in marriage. It's true, there are some men that do not deserve, you know, to even be present. Let's not focus on what people deserve. If God was to handle us according to what we deserve, where would we be? Where would we be? This is how I feel about it. If my child decides my father is not allowed, I will advise my child against it. But guess what? I will not force. I will never force that on my child. Let me tell you something I have noticed in our culture that I think needs to change. A lot of weddings ends up being the parents plan the wedding and the children attend. It's happening a lot that parents force their way into the wedding planning and the children just attend the wedding. I think this is a tradition we should start, it's your child's wedding. Let them decide how they want to plan their wedding. A lot of people, I have seen a lot of people, Nigerian people that complain. There was a post once on Facebook and people were commenting and they were saying things about, my wedding was terrible. My mother planned everything from my wedding dress and everything. Said, I hated it. Nothing was my taste. Nothing was what I wanted. And I used to think, why do parents force themselves so much into their children's lives to this extent? You know what I'm trying to say? Parent, you can advise. You can advise them for their wedding day. This would be a good idea. But don't push your way into the life of your children. There are a lot of things we need to start changing as a people. Let the children enjoy their choices and their right to make those choices. We are there to guide and direct them. Don't force your way. So if my child decides my father is not going to attend, my child insists and like, I do not want my father there, I will discourage my child from doing that. Like, no, that's not a good idea. Let your father be there. I will do everything that I can to show my child the reason why it's a good idea to just forget it, whatever. Just let your father attend. Let it be a happy family day, whatever. If my child still insists, I will not force my child to have his or her father on his wedding day. No, I won't. Because at the end of the day, it's my child's wedding, not mine. And then come to the area of, no matter what he did, it is his right. It is... I personally do not believe it's not a right. It's a culture. It's a tradition. It's very easy for our people to be like, it's the right of the man to be there. We rarely hear about the rights of women in a lot of African culture. We rarely hear about the rights of women. But men have so many rights, both the ones they are abusing and the ones they are not abusing. I do not see it as anybody's God-given right to be the one to give your child's hand in marriage. It's a privilege. Let me tell you, if it was a right, every man, there are some men that died before their children got married. If it is a right, God would have kept them alive and be like, no, they have the right to give their child's hand in marriage, or I must keep them alive because they have a right. No, to be alive to even see your child get married is a privilege. Okay, it is a privilege. Even be able to have children, to get to the point of your child growing up for you to give out your child's hand in marriage, it's a privilege. It's not a right. Nobody even has the right to be a father. It is a privilege. I just hope I'm making sense. A lot of the things we have in life, we treat them like rights. A lot of things are actually privileges that a lot of us begin to feel entitled. Some people slept yesterday and never woke up. That's when you realize that it is a privilege to wake up every single day. You don't have a right to have food to eat. It is a privilege to have food to eat. Now, coming back to, is it our culture? There's no culture that says it's okay for a man to have children and abandon his children. I'm not saying this man did. He said he didn't. I'm just saying, let's talk about this thing in general, okay? There is no culture that says it's all right for a man to have children, abandon his children and disappear and turn up when it's their wedding. No culture says that. Okay? No culture says that. But who is enforcing that culture? What penalties are there for the men when they abandon their children and only turn up when it's time to collect bride price? What culture says that is okay? No culture says that. So what are the penalties for men that do it? None. Where are the curses for the men that do it? None. This is against every culture. I don't believe there's a culture that supports a man have children, leave them and disappear and turn up when the girls are getting married for bride price. There's no culture that I know that sanctions that says that's the right way a father should behave. Yet men are doing it and getting away with it. Where are the penalties for them in our culture? But when the child grows up and be like, my father is not allowed at my wedding, or some women do it, I'm not supporting that, I'm just saying some women do it, I'm like, you were not there when I was suffering and raising these children, when I was struggling, we were starving, I did everything I could for these children. You were not there to play your fatherly role, so you don't need you to come and play the fatherly role on the bride price day. I'm not supporting this. I'm just saying that when the women then do that, all of a sudden it becomes a cultural abomination. Even though the man has done things that is against culture, no penalty. But the day it becomes the other way, all of a sudden there is abomination. But it was not abomination when the man decided to disappear and abandon his children. It is an abomination to have children and just disappear out of their lives. It is an abomination. No culture supports that. But men are getting away with it. Men are getting away with it. It is only when... Have you noticed that it's always when something is done against men in a lot of our cultures that we hear what abomination is? Do you know that if a man beat up his wife, they will do a family meeting to settle them? If you ever hear that a woman beat up her husband, oh my goodness, it's abomination. Why is it always abomination when the woman does something? Think about these things. Now, let me tell you where I have issue with the man. If this post they're making, this article is actually true. If he's saying he was there and everything, okay, okay, you know, he was there, and I would have said, let him come for the wedding. It's one day in her life. But why would you curse your own child? Why? Why would you curse your own flesh and blood? Why would you do such a... But there was somewhere I read that they said, oh, it's audio wedding, be audio marriage. That is not the real one. But my thing is this: why will a man curse his own child? And they said he cursed, that's what the article said, you know, that he cursed the child, his child, and said that marriage will not bear fruit. What will he gain from his own child's marriage not bearing fruit? What kind of a father does that? Tell me, your child does not end up not having children. How does that improve your life as a man? Like, how does that, how do I even phrase it? I don't even know how to phrase it. What does that do for you that your child cannot have children? Anyways, I just wanted to share that with you guys. Whatever your opinion is, feel free to leave it in the comment section below. And with that, I'm just going to say thank you for watching. Until the next time, guys. Bye-bye. Bye.
Goodbye, friends, and goodbye, folks.